welcome to the Partnership Publishing Podcast. I am today joined with William Adams. Hello, welcome.
Good afternoon, Florence. How are you?
Very, very well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be meeting with you today. For those that are listening and watching and don't know, William Adams is our debut author of our brand new children's musical storybook. Here we have it, The Sleepy Bear of Leafy Wood. Congratulations.
Very much.
So, we have been on a bit of a journey with The Sleepy Bear of Leafy Wood. And the writing journey actually started quite a while ago. Maybe if we start from the beginning and you share with us a little bit about your reasons for starting to write what became The Sleepy Bear of Leafy Wood.
Okay. Well, The Sleepy Bear of Leafy Wood was not the first book that I wrote. I'd written a book Christmas before last about a wizard, not a particularly nice wizard that comes at Christmas to pinch a child's soul. So it was pretty grim. And I performed it. It was a musical story, and it was a song first. And like The Sleepy Bear Leafy Wood, I'd written it as I suppose, a poem to start with, that I then turned into a song, because I tend to write songs and I write poetry as lyrics for songs typically. And I'd had the opportunity locally, by being brave enough to walk through the door and asking, to perform dressed as a wizard, the Cold North Wind, as it was called, about the wizard in Waterstones and in HMV locally, where I live in Dorset, down in Weymouth. Actually, Waterstones is in Dorchester and HMV is in Yeovil, so not that far away. I really enjoyed doing it, and I'd enjoyed doing it because it was something musical. I mean, I like singing, playing, busking, performing with a band, all that sort of stuff. But it was really nice to actually perform it for children, because obviously the previous book, and very much The Sleepy Bear Leafy Wood, was for children. And what I noticed with the first one, The Cold North Wind, was that very little children were dancing away to the music. Although it was a very dark story, they enjoyed the whole musical experience. And I think that sort of struck a chord with me, music, because I really enjoyed performing to an audience that actually listened to what I was doing, unlike an adult one who are normally too busy chatting amongst themselves, checking their phones and everything else when you perform. So I thought I enjoyed that, and it must have stuck in my mind. Anyway, that Christmas the year went by, and I had reason to be slightly less happy in my life towards the end of last year. The reasons are irrelevant, really, but I found myself in a bit of a dark place towards the end of the year, and I don't think any of us like the winter anyway coming. And I think, I don't know, I wasn't in a brilliant place. And so I think a combination of me not being in a great place and needing to do something about that, from a sadness point of view, and that thought that had stuck with me about children dancing to the music, I think added into the recipe for writing the story that was The Sleepy Bear Leafy Wood. I've been working for the last couple of years on more adult stuff. I write folk rock music as well, and I've been working on a third album for the last couple of years. Hopefully that'll be finished soon. All this stuff takes time, and I found myself I think it was probably about mid-December, particularly cold, wet, horrible. I'd been for a walk along the beach, and I came back and I wrote the poem and the song, The Sleepy Bear of Leafy Wood. And I think I wrote it because it's such a happy story. I think I wrote it for the little boy in me. It sounds a bit daft. I think it was my mind trying to do something about the mind I was in, about the feelings that I had. And I think I did it as a self therapy sort of thing almost.
we often hear that, like, as publishers. I know when we first read the manuscript, it was unique. It was definitely different, in the best way, because musically it was there, and that was such a strong, having an author, poet, and musician. The fact that this children's musical storybook can be so accessible that through a difficult period, there is genuine self-therapy there, that you've been able to then use that, transform that, capture children's imaginations, but then transform it into what it is today and bring it to life through a storybook, but through music. And along the way, you've also met this fantastic illustrator, Noah Warnes, and he's been able to bring it to life in vision, you know, and the colors are just beautiful. Again, for those that can see, I'm just sharing a little snippet of the beautiful double page full color spreads of all the beautiful illustrations. The sleepy bear is the most cutest character that you fall in love with on this journey. And yeah, how was that, finding Noah, and seeing your character come to life, really?
Things have sort of fallen into place a little bit like a jigsaw puzzle, because Weymouth has a lot of musicians in it. It has more than you'd expect for the size of it. There's a lot of musicians and bands and music in Weymouth, which is great, and always has been. Whilst I can play Sleepy Bear, Leafy Wood, and all the songs I write, when I record them, I'll sing the vocals, but I don't record my guitar playing. Pretty much never. Occasionally I might put a bit of 12 string in or something on top of what other people have done. So I get far better musicians, session quality musicians, to record albums, the grown-up albums I'd call them, and these children's songs. And one of those musicians, a great friend of mine called Paul Sant, who's a wonderful, wonderful guitarist. On the Cold North Wind, I wrote it on a classical guitar, and there was a little bit on it that I played that I thought sounded a bit flamenco, and I thought I really like that style. So I ended up going to Spain last year beginning of the year for 2 months to Andalusia to learn flamenco guitar. You can't learn flamenco guitar in 2 months, but to get the, sort of learn the sort of, I don't know, whatever style. And Paul had been helping me with it as well. He'd been sort of some flamenco as well. But I got Paul to play on the other album, the other album we worked on for 2 years. And he had a friend who was a drummer and also an illustrator that lived in a village, Shaftesbury, which isn't that far away from here. Noah's actually moved and lives in Falmouth now, but at the time he wasn't that far away. And he put him in touch. We gave him his details, spoke to Noah. We didn't meet. We did everything by telephone call and email, and he produced that beautiful artwork, which is the Sleepy Bear of Leafy Wood. When it was amazing, he came down to Weymouth, and Paul and I met Noah for a couple of pints in the pub down the road. And what was wonderful about it, because sometimes it's better not to meet people.
Yeah,
heroes and stuff. But Noah, I couldn't have wished for a nicer guy. Absolutely humble, really nice, very, very talented, and just a genuinely lovely guy. And it was so nice to meet him. And we've done lots of work since together. So
it's just how
forgive me, I'm slightly wrong there. I meant to say for the Cold North Wind, because he illustrated the Cold North Wind.
Of course, yeah.
He did the Cold North Wind. And by the time we met for the Cold North Wind, and then I said, I've got an idea for another one, which is Sleepy Bear. So then he's carried on with time. Forgive me, it was a cold north wind. He always
No, but the relationship has just grown even since then, and continues to do so. There is more news to come soon, for those of you that will be following William.
of the cold north wind. I appreciate this is about Stevie Baird, just so they can see the
Yeah,
illustration
absolutely. Yeah, share.
of wind. And this is again examples
Amazing.
of Noah's beautiful illustrations.
Yeah,
And they're just, they're
it
just
is. It's that
awesome.
digital graphic. Yeah,
And again, it's a musical. This one's available online. And people can
that's
just
beautiful.
find
And that wintry Christmassy scene there that you just shared is just stunning.
it's absolutely beautiful illustrations. And so when it came to the Sleepy Bear of Leafy Wood, I knew he'd be able to do it, and a wonderful job. So
yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of praise for Noah here. Yeah, absolutely. And again, I'm just showing, so he's done humans, people, animals, and these are your creations kind of being brought to life. The colors are vivid. Kind of going along this journey, obviously, like you said, they start as poetry for a form of lyrics for music with the Sleepy Bear of Leafy Wood. How would you say, because it's a very light beat tune, the colors are represented. How do you feel children have reacted? I think is one of the most precious experiences that you've had to date since the book's been published. How have you found the reaction?
well, first and foremost, well, I do quite a lot of busking because I enjoy doing it, and it's a way of keeping you sharp enough to be able to do gigs, because I don't do gigs all the time, and you get really rusty if you don't sing in front of an audience for a little while. And there's nothing harder than just sitting there with a guitar in the street and singing. And what I've put together is a little bookmark, and
Oh, brilliant.
it's got Sleepy Bear on the front, and on the back it's got the QR codes to
Yeah.
the
Listen
various,
along.
listen along, listen to the song, listen to the story, whatever. And so I tend to give these out when I'm busking. If children quite, it tends to be children that tend to put money in your guitar case.
Yeah,
They're sort of tugging on mum's arm because they've already spotted. And if you're sat on a stool or something playing guitar, you're actually at eye level of children.
yeah.
And children, it's all I've always found that children tend to be the ones that tug their mum and
Mhm.
dad, and mum gives them a
Mhm.
pound or whatever, for 10 pence or
Mm.
whatever, and they come up in the pot. And I give them a bookmark
Wow.
I give them a
Yeah,
bookmark, even if they're walking past, like a musical story
mm,
bookmark. And I think it's great publicity, but also it is quite nice because people have said, "Oh, listen to the song, really enjoyed the song. Can I have the
yeah,
book?" But the last couple of people that have had the book off me, I've had some really nice stories back about sort of. One's a 5-year-old little boy who the Sleepy Bear's become his favorite storybook, and he's got lots of storybooks. But it's like every night he comes round to his mum and says, "Can I have one more story? Have a story? It's this one, Sleepy
yeah.
Bear," and that's really nice. Getting that feedback back.
That's amazing. And I think it is a rhyme. Well, rhyming, it's a song book. And so to, it does genuinely, research suggests, us as publishers, we know that to encourage children to read, whether it's the illustrations that help, but having some form of song and communication that's more entertainment led is just brilliant for their attention, for the interaction within the book. There's layers on layers of detail in the illustrations of this book that as you're reading and you're singing, and as you did share there are QR codes in which in the book you can then listen alongside, but you can really capture the children's imagination, and it's instilled in them. And we have found that literally children just keep wanting to again. And hence why there are going to be other books in the Now series. And again, more of that to follow if you continue to follow William Adams and his journey. You mentioned there, obviously, bookmark. I'd also like to stress to readers and followers and people that are watching this video, you also have merchandise. There are Sleepy Bear of Leafy Wood t-shirts, and obviously there is the music. To get enthralled in the Leafy Wood kind of world that is, I really do encourage anyone that's listening to this and just thinks, do you know, something so light-hearted, entertaining, a bit of like an adventure kind of story song, kind of coming out of, you know, sleepiness into light time. It's very lyrical. We've heard that there could be some fantastic ideas for theatre productions, so songs becoming dances for dance schools, schools in general. There's already been quite an interest. I would urge you to find out more and visit William Adams' website, which is the sleepybearofleafywood.com. Am I missing anything there, William?
We've got some nice additional illustrations from Noah that I intend to put on the website that people can download, and cut out face masks for Bear.
Oh, that is fun. I have seen a sneak peek of those as well, and I can vouch that they are brilliant.
The characters, and again, the book, you know, I'm you know, yes, I've written a book, and I'm very proud of it, and I'm very pleased that, you know, with your, you know, you and your team's response, and the children that, you know, the feedback I'm getting from the children that have read it, which is lovely. The book isn't supposed to be some sort of intellectual, I don't know, message. It's, you know, it's not political. It's not trying to make any statements about, you know, right, wrong, good and evil, any of that. It was just to make a child happy. That's all it was. And I think the message, I think we said, I've said this to you once before, is that life is a song, that actually, you know, our whole life is, you know, sometimes a sad song, a happy song, and for Sleepy Bear, it's summer's song of the forest. And you know, when I read this to children, I sort of, you know, talk to them about the fact that if you just sit in a wood or a forest or a field or whatever, and start to listen on a sunny day, there'll be a song. There'll be, you know, sounds of birds and grass and trees rustling and everything else. And in the winter, it's a different song, you know. And for Bear, you know, he's got his summer song, he's got his sleeping song, and he's got his winter song. And you know, it's a journey in music, really, from that point of view.
It's honestly, it is. It's absolutely stunning. We touch on there as well something that I'd like to talk to you about. From the natural world perspective, you say, you know, just there, like, you're in nature and you hear song. Is that how you kind of hear song? I'm assuming so. But do you get a lot of inspiration from the natural world?
I would say I love being outdoors. I grew up, most of my formative years were here in Weymouth, and I was lucky enough to grow up fishing on the Chesil Beach with a fishing crew, you know, nets and boats and what have you, carrying pots on my back and all that sort of stuff. I'm that old. And it was a wonderful place to grow up, and just the sound of the sea and the sound of, you know, everything from you know, the wind, the waves, you know, the pebbles, you know, the pebble being washed backwards and forwards, and the sound that fish make when they come to the surface in large sort of shoals, and, you know, and chase bait, and the whole thing is sort of I think very it really has an effect on you in terms of, you know. And I love walking through. I love being under trees when it's windy near the sea. There's a particular place on the coast in North Devon that I like to go to, called Putsborough, and it's a wonderful surfing beach. There's Woolacombe one end and there's Putsborough the other. It's a really long sandy beach, and there's some trees down towards the near the water at Putsborough. I love the sound of the sea and the wind in the trees at the same time. It's a wonderful, wonderful sound. So yeah, I listen to a lot of music. I listen to classical music. I listen to all sorts of music, dance, rock, disco, all of it. Over punk rock. I left school at the time. Punk rock was
Yeah.
So I think
A
people
lot of inspiration.
they've had, that people might feel they've had probably the best that music's going to give us, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went to
No, I think a lot would agree.
I went to a Beatles concert. My mum was 7 months pregnant with me when she went and saw the Beatles. I
You were
went to a
there.
Beatles concert, and and all the way through to today. So,
That's amazing.
I've just learned the new Beatles song as well. So.
Honestly, I mean, that's incredible, even just recently. I think another thing that was really evident for us as publishers to be able to represent and share your work was the fact that you've shared that you're very open to busking. I'd really like for people to know that that yourself as author, singer, songwriter, poet, musician, you are also available for events, school visits, workshops. He's you've slightly touched throughout our conversation, free resources. There's downloadable resources in the back of
be more going on the site.
About the back of the book. There's extra resources here, like I said, the songs to listen to. There's always colouring in. The story doesn't end. It's a piece of entertainment, really, is what this book is, and ultimately that you're really readily available. You travel all over the world, and ultimately are available to share your songs with the world, share your stories, and now your children's entertainment, which is just so special. And I don't think at this moment in time in this world that the pure message of simply writing and wanting to entertain a child to ensure that they're happy, as simple as that is one message that we are proud to be able to share with this. So thank you so much.
Nice
Thank you. It's been such a wonderful conversation. I hope that if you're listening or watching this video, that you've been able to really glean the passion from both of ourselves as publishers and William as author, singer, songwriter, musician, poet, author. That this is a passion, and we can't wait for you all to grab your copy and stay tuned for what's next, because there's a lot more.
Thank you.
Bye for now. Thank you ever so much. Bye for now.